crack that whip. Morning to you, good morning to you. Good morning, it is Thirsty Thriving Thursday. Thirsty, thumping, thriving Thursday. Hello in Myrtle Beach. Good morning, Hecka. I bet you foggy down there. Hello, you know, by the bay. You could be foggy down there too. I don't know. Hello, my people. What's going on? It is chilly this morning in Sacramento. It's not as bad as it's been, but it's still kind of cold. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, good morning, people. I don't know how long every day I shoot for a certain miles, and if I get it, I feel lucky. If I don't, well, fuck, there's always tomorrow. I didn't do the last couple mornings have been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and last night the day was long, and we just didn't get it on. I mean, we got it on, but we didn't get on our lives, so we apologize for that. It was so crazy. Toot toot, Liam. It was so crazy. It was a great day, actually. Lots of relief, lots of communication, lots of reminiscing, lots of past memories. And then it just took over the day. And then Ed, we were gonna get on about 6-ish. And then Ed wasn't doing well mentally. So it could have been from all of our talkings, but we'll never know. How's the weather? Oh, well, according to the nipples, not that cold. Just saying. Yes, it was really great. It's all Chris's fault. And then Candace's fault. With the fucking photo albums. He brought them out again, Candace. He went into the treasures, and all treasures of the stuff. Candace, I didn't even get to watch my sister wives. 2 days! People! 2 days! With no sister wives. I'm dying. Internally. I put it on finally about 10 o'clock. I think I got 10 minutes in and I fell asleep. Y'all are killing me. Fuck Zoom. Fuck it. Anywho. So yes, there are those days. It was a good day, actually. We enjoyed ourselves. And, you know, it is what it is. You do the best you can, and sometimes it just doesn't work out the way we want it to. I know, okay. If I had 2 days to myself to continue to watch my fucking shows, I probably would have been halfway through season 15. Almost there, y'all. I can taste it. I can smell it. But I can't reach it yet because people have gotten in my way. People have gotten in my way. Christina, hang tough. Hello, Alex. If I like his music. Mars, you know what's so funny about that? I would love to somebody sent me a song, Colin, my baby cakes. He sent me a song yesterday. I couldn't even sit through it because I was pulled one way, pulled the other, and I have yet to, I can't. I would love to give you the lovely thoughts of me being able to accomplish anything other than what I already stress out about. Shit. I know, I'm kind of tired too. Scammed out of everything from some romance scammer. Danny, it's so scary. The things they do to old people, it is so scary. He's saving the rap game. That's funny. Hi Bronx Nana, how's everything going on? Yeah, it started off this morning. When Dan sits down with the Zoom, you know, when he takes it and then plops himself down you know it's going to be an active day. It was kind of nice, I have to admit, to not actually, I wasn't in the mood. There was a lot of emotional carnage yesterday. Not bad carnage, but lots of talking, lots of reminiscing, lots of old baggage, lots of, yeah, it was tough. It would have been really tough to get on and entertain, put it that way, entertain. So we had a really good time. Yeah, it's so scary. So I have a friend, Danny, speaking of, who, before her mom passed away, Betty, rest your soul, sweet pea. God, I love that woman. You think I'm spicy. You think I'm spicy? Shit, you should have seen my my best friend's mama. Woo, that woman could have put any spice to shame. So, anywho, before she died, she was getting scammed out of money, majorly, and it was such a frustrating thing between her husband, and she would do things underhandedly, thinking she was going to get. Anyhow, it's so ugly how people that happens. And then now that she's gone, my friend's dad is getting older, and he's falling into the same victim. Not with like love's romance, but with like people, your computer's crashing, I need this, I need that, him thinking he's losing stuff. So it happens. And it's one of the saddest things that's out there. Yeah, through computer, and that's what her dad was getting scammed through, I think, is the computer stuff. And her mom, it was other things, I can't remember exactly, but it starts with the computer. You have a virus, but we must have you go to the, bank, cash in a certificate, send it. It was just like, why do we think that that's not something to be, hello, it's not normal. Yeah, it's so sad. The vulnerability of old people, and people take advantage. Same with women, same with young kids. This world is quite ugly. Anywho, Doc Compton, what's that? I got a PI, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. And who knows how much you don't know. There's probably so much other things. The same thing, life is backwards. Same thing for them. Reverse mortgage. And that is the biggest scam. And you know who? Tom Selleck. Doesn't Tom Selleck do ads for the reverse mortgage? So sad. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings of the reverse mortgage. I know that I hate that commercial. It gives me the biggest Me Too, life is backwards. Holy shit. When I see him, I'm like, Tom, bruh, were you really that desperate? The mustache, right? It breaks my heart. No. Because you lose so much money, right? Some people do it because they think they see the amount of money they get monthly, but they don't realize how much is on the backside, and it's really a scam, I think. I do too, Hearts. I do too. I don't know what equity release is. Maybe that's what it is in Europe. I don't know. Hi, Deep Pine. Yeah, where you kind of just live off the equity of the house once it's paid off, right? It's a reverse mortgage, yeah. It's sad. It's sad. Oh, Rebecca. So I had a doctor's appointment, a PT appointment today, which remember how I was talking about how I have my cupping and my PT in the same week. Well, not no more. She's not in today, so fuck. I got a feeling this is probably since he could get me a phone number. It's so crazy. The work and the stress for the kids that have to fix it. Yeah, you're better off doing a cash out refi. Yep, I agree. You're not running Catalina, that's okay. I'm struggling today like I was yesterday. And then you all got me fired up. And then I just sailed through it. I don't need, oh yeah. I got it too. I was like, why is Kaiser calling me? Why? Hey. Well, she's not in today. That would be why. And then I have to now go next week all the way across town instead of close to town. Hi, Jerry. So, hi, Judy. As far as how long I do my PT with, I'm within her office for about once every 3 weeks, I think. Every 2 to 3 weeks. 3 weeks? About 3 weeks, once a month. And so as long as once I'm healed, and if that doesn't work, then she sends me to a head and neck specialist and try to help with my issues. So you know better than me, Lilia. I just know they're scams. I'm getting on the treadmill. You know, it's something that I have to do, Seth. It's an addiction that I have. It's really something that has kept me balanced my whole life, is running. It's the only thing I'm consistent with. It's the only thing that gives me a boost, makes me feel better, helps me release some stress, and keeps me in somewhat shape, you know. Yeah. Well, you just moved, didn't you, Alex? The next time I move, this can't be my forever home because it's too expensive for upkeep. So I would like to say, unless I hit it big, you know, unless we hit the lottery with social media or a movie or a book, you know, who knows, but maybe we could stay here. But until then, we know this is not a place that we're going to be able to stay forever. The taxes are high. There's a lot of upkeep on the property. I would love to stay here, though. I mean, I really would. And the date comes, I better have enough money to hire movers. Because I don't want to pack. I don't want to move. I just want to be able to point and say, get rid of that, pack that, and off we go. And you know, it's nice when you finally accomplish paying off a home, you know, earlier than expected. And thank God, you know, we were able to with the line of work my husband did. But, you know, people forget about the taxes. Sometimes I try to forget, and then, well, it comes and I'm like, how are we paying for this? Shit. Should I be saving monthly? Yeah. So it's harder for me. Yeah, you know, I when you live in a house for 18 years, you accumulate a lot of shit. And with all the kids shit that you're saving for them, thinking they're gonna want that picture they colored in 1972, you know. So it's really nice. You're moving no, I don't want to carry anything. The moving part. And you know about taxes, Hecka, because they're expensive in San Francisco too. Yeah, you're lucky, Lisa. We bought this house in 06, and if you all remember what was happening in 06 was the market started coming down before the crash. So this house was peaking at a specific price, and it started dropping, so we bought. Well, and then guess what happened? Right after we bought it, it crashed. Yeah, so that was lovely. But we're still here, and whatever. So we've, you know, accumulated, we paid it off, so we're just sitting pretty with our high taxes and hoping one day when we're ready to sell, it'll be once again at the top of the market. and then we'll be singing. We'll be singing, we'll be screaming, and we will be dancing naked in the yard and thanking the heavens above for our cash cow win. But if not, I mean, y'all who have kids, don't be telling me you don't have a room devoted to 25 buckets of shit. 25 buckets of shit. You know what I'm talking about. Jolene, don't be laughing. Every ceramic handprint, every haircut, every tooth that came out of their mouth, every trophy, every pertinent thing that I thought was important, I shoved it in a box, and it is taking over a room. Upstairs, hats, shirts, and don't even get me started on the soccer shit that's up there. Snooky slippers, y'all. Snooky slippers. You remember when Jersey Shore was popping? When it first came out? Well, my 8-year-old loved it. She watched it. Don't judge, but she did. Snooky slippers. They're up there. Snooky slippers. Yep. Justin Bieber, remember him? I have teeth. Jolene, I have teeth everywhere in my house. I find a baby tooth and I'm like, well, whose is this one? I don't know. None of them are labeled. I just throw them in their boxes thinking, well, at least they'll think they're theirs. I don't know. Most of the time, Hannah's were nubs, so I could distinguish her teeth because she grinded her teeth. So I just throw them in the box. Well, Jennifer and Hannah, I don't know. Jennifer's today. Every bit of arts and crafts that I loved in the boxes. In the boxes. I got projects. I got posters. I got flags. I got cathedrals. Not cathedrals. What were those fucking things? Missions. Missions. I got it all upstairs just in case the kids want them. Overtaking a fucking room. My cats get in there. They piss on them. Fucking pisses me off. Hannah, Justin Bieber. Now, she was a Justin Bieber fan. I have Justin Bieber shit that hasn't been taken out of a box. In boxes. Hannah. Yep. I got shit galore. First period pads up there. Just kidding. No, it's not. Gotcha. These teams. Their first pads. Hannah made me promise not to touch the Bieber stuff. That's her, she said. That is not Dad's collectibles. First underwear. Mama, what's this? Honey, you have become a woman. No, just kidding. I wish they would stop taxing us too once we paid off our house. I agree with you. Andrew's first wet dream on the sheets, got it. It's in a bag. First wet dream. You're welcome. Mama loves you. Yep. That's the kind of mom I am. I document everything. And if I can't document it, I throw it in a box. I throw it in a big Rubbermaid storage box. So, I don't know. Sometimes now, I just shove shit in. I don't know whose box is whose anymore. So, they will have fun digging through that one day. And they will probably say, Mom, why? Why did you save this? I even have umbilical cords. Anybody? Umbilical cords. Jennifer's is pretty much powder. Yeah. Her baby, I have shit everywhere. I'm really unorganized. I opened up when I was able to get in without the construction shit. It's like, I was like, what's in this bag? What's, like shit. It's like crumbled up shit. Well, umbilical cord, I remembered. It's petrified, putrefied, fermented, and crumbled up. So it's in the, yeah, anyhow, I don't know. When they took out my stitches, they were in the same bag. My little tears, no, just kidding, they disintegrated. Y'all, yeah, boxes. So I have shit everywhere. It's a pain in the ass. First, CDs. Remember those Kid Bop CDs where they were just kids singing the popular songs? Yep, saved them. I did. Why? Don't know. Could come in handy one day. Maybe they want to listen to it. I just don't know. Remember those little Apple MP3 players that clipped? They were like a little square. Remember those? Yep. Clipped it. Still have them. Still have all the kids. I do. I have them all. I have them all. Here's the thing though, angels. Yes. My kids are like, Mom, I said, one of these days, when y'all move and get married, you gotta rifle through your shit. My blankets, my mom made them. Of course, those are hanging up separately. Stuffed animals, my mom made them. Completely different area. But all the other shit, they're gonna have to. First haircut, yep, got that. So they're gonna be so mad at me. I got everything in there. Every soccer shirt, every soccer uniform. Yep. I'm telling you, there's about 15 boxes upstairs full of shit. Yes. So, where did I learn how to be such a good mom? My mom. I can tell you that. I can tell you that a lot of my ways are my mom's ways because it worked well for me. You know, I never really lied to my mom. I was always honest with her. And she was very liberal with, no, it's not just you, me too. She was really liberal with her parenting. You know, her thing was, if we have a basic, unit of trust, it goes a long way. So she always said, if you're honest with me, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can do pretty much whatever you want. And I never felt the need to sneak out and do any of that shit because I can be like, okay, Mom, you don't know this, or maybe you do want to know this, but this is what's happening about 12:01 midnight. I will be home, I will be safe, and I'll knock you on the door, tap you on the shoulder, and let you know. And she was like, all right, whatever, just be safe. I don't like it, I know, but would you rather me tell you, or would you rather me just do it? And she said, I appreciate the honesty. I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to lie. Ugh, at least that's so crazy. I didn't have to lie. So I was the same way with my kids. Just be upfront. Just be truthful. And I will be there. If you need me to pick you up, I'm there. Just don't catch me lying to you. I wouldn't really tell her that. But I would come home and I would say, well, because I didn't know it was a skip day. I didn't know we were going to be drinking, at my friend's house after lunch. So I knew I'd be like, well, Ma, just in case you get the phone call from the attendant's office, after lunch we went to Jeanette's house and we had a little siesta. So I missed ceramics, PE, and, well, algebra. It's fine. She'd be like, oh, Danielle. But I knew, I always kept it. I was kept it front and center. And if she ever caught me in a lie, I was in trouble. And there was only one time I lied to her. And I don't know what possessed me to, but I did. Like she couldn't smell the quart of whiskey on my breath. I'm not drunk. You don't know what you're talking about, Ma. You think I would lie to you? How dare you accuse me of drinking? That was one time. She cornered me in the kitchen. I was going to get some chips. nothing changes. Danielle, have you been drinking?
No.
As I'm swaying back and forth, I think I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, maybe a freshman, sophomore. And you know that thing about whiskey, right? You drink it, and you drink some more, nothing happens. You feel good, right? But you feel fine, and you keep drinking more because you're like, where the fuck is that feeling? And then your mom picks you up from the friend's house with your best friend, and you have no idea that you smell like a distillery. And then all of a sudden you're driving home and you go, uh-oh, fuck. My best friend at the time was Jenny. She's like, shh. I'm focusing on the road. Do you? Yes. Horrible. That was horrible. And I was hammered. I was fucking hammered. So then, the next day, you wake up, and of course I stumbled off, right? You don't know what you're talking about, Ma. I'm fine. Run off with my bag of chips, get in my bed. Next morning comes up, Jenny, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Do you think she knew? I think so. She asked me. I think I pulled it off, though. Are you sure? Yeah. I think well, I didn't drive. My mom picked us up because we couldn't drive, and I don't think we had our licenses yet. So, and then I'm like, I pulled it off. My friend left. The infamous knock on the door. Because I did not leave my room. I knew there was a slight chance that my mom thought I was lying. Knock, knock. Danielle? Are you sleeping? Fuck. Opens the door. We need to talk. Fuck. She knows. And she's like, bitch, why you be lying? I knew you were drinking. Do you not think I care? But why did you feel it was necessary to lie? I don't know, I didn't want you to be disappointed in me. I'm more disappointed in the fact that you lied. I'm sorry, Mommy, love you. And she's like, Ann, you fucking smelled like a distillery. How much whiskey did you drink? How did you know it was whiskey? I don't know. I'm stupid. I didn't even like it. Girl, you know better than that. Sorry, Ma. But you're still grounded for lying. You're not, You're not even grounded for drinking. You're grounded for lying. Shit. And you do realize, when I cornered you in the kitchen, you weren't standing up straight either. And you were slurring your words. I thought I did a good job. No. Shit. I hate whiskey. And I remember drinking it. And it was so stupid because my mom's like, okay. I had to call her when I was ready, right? Because back then we didn't have cell phones. Or they were the big, 20-pounders. So I'm like, all right. Some reason we all started, it was a group of us. Some reason we all started drinking. Like, I knew my mom was going to be there in 15 minutes. And we just started pounding fucking shots. Like, where was this all night long? Why did we wait until the parents, what? I think we started drinking, like, right at the end of the night. Ugh, I hate whiskey. And I didn't throw up that night, but I did have a headache. Shit. So after that moment, I never told a lie. I said, well, Ma, probably gonna be drinking or spending the night. And, she always said, all right. If you need me, call me. If you need me, I'll pick you up. If you want to come home, whatever. Southern comfort. And it's so funny because I remember TikTok, do better, bruh. I remember being in the kitchen. Again, that was probably a trauma for me, because I remember my dad did less. I remember being cornered in the kitchen, and I remember thinking, Danielle, get it together. Get it together. I wasn't a bad kid. I was actually a really good kid. And then after that moment, I never lied to her again, I told half-truths because she always said to me, you know what? I don't need to know everything, right? I just need to know the important stuff. I don't want you driving drunk. I don't want you trying drugs. But if you do, let me know if you need me, right? I just want you to respect yourself. I want you to respect your body. I want you to do the best you can with what I have taught you. So, yeah, she, didn't want to know when I was frolicking with boys and shit like that. I did remember coming home one time and saying, Mom, I made out with Ryan. She gave me that look, which is one of the looks I have today. When I look at Dan, it's my mom. She's like, Danielle, I finally did it. This month? No, too much? All right. So she just said, I don't need to know about everything. I just need to know, about the important things. So I didn't lie and don't lie. We live in USA, Daniel. Do I like your mother-in-law? What kind of, who? What? I don't know about that question. What does she think of Dan? That's, Susan, a really open-ended question. Ultimately, she loved Dan. I think my mom, she had premonitions, I believe. And I believe, my mom always thought she was going to die early, and she did. I think she supported the relationship. She knew that at the end of the day, despite Dan's issue faults, because we all have them, that he was going to be able to support me, nurture me, and give me a life that she would have been so happy to see that I live. And for her, that was important. And I really do believe that because of that, and because of her premonitions, she did. She was okay. It was almost like she wanted to know I was headed in the right direction and when she died. So, it's kind of cool. We were talking all sorts of stuff yesterday. I was married, Linda. My mom was dying. My kids were all born. Andrew was under 2. And I got a call the day my mom was planning a surgery to keep her alive as long as possible. She was at my house visiting, and I got the call that my dad tried to commit suicide. At the same time, we were planning the will, what she wanted to do with her money, while I got that call. And so, yeah, that was a very hard time for me. Dan was discussing it yesterday with our friends, and I wasn't here. I was out here talking to you guys, and he broke down, I guess. He was telling the story about how hard it was. And, at that time, Dan didn't really show emotion like that, He wasn't a big emotional shower. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to handle those situations. So to hear him recount that everybody was telling me what he was sharing with them and how he felt at that moment, as well as what I felt like having to live through those huge, horrible things with my wife was horrible, you know? It was being there and seeing her reaction, her mom's reaction, it all at the same time was so hard. And, you know, he got emotional about it yesterday, talking about it. Now, he didn't do that back in the day, but he did. He talked about my mom's death. He talked about, you know, how hard it affected him. And, you know, I said that to them this morning. I said, you know, it's really weird that, you know, at the time I was going through it, right? My emotions were out there. They were all over the place. They were jumbled. They were just, you know, I never saw him cry. I never saw him show any sort of emotion. And yesterday he was full of it. But I never really asked, you know, in all these years, how he felt. You know what I mean? Like, I never really thought it had affected him. Like, you know, it didn't affect it. Like, he knew he was sad, but I didn't realize that he was just as affected by that loss for me and his love for me and so on and so forth. So it was quite interesting to hear some of his, it was so interesting to hear his perspective of that time. And then, you know, yesterday I was like, God, is that selfish of me that I never asked if he was okay? You know, I don't know. Was that bad? Because I was so conflicted and had so much pain and didn't know how to handle it that I never asked about him. Did I know Dan was the one you wanted to marry? Yep. And that'll be a story for another time. But yes, I knew. I knew. You know, people say, you know, you knew the moment you put eyes on somebody. And a lot of people scoff at it. And they were like, that doesn't happen. That only happens in fairy tales. No, it happened to me. It happened to me. I lost a twin. My husband didn't show in front of me. But yeah, you know. And I think at the time, Dan didn't really, you know, he wasn't around a lot of emotion, you know. He wasn't around a lot of emotion. And so I don't think he knew how to express it. I think this was probably his first big trauma that he had to live through was mine, right? And I think, you know, like you said, it'll be 18 years next month that my mom died. And it's, you know, it affected him. And I don't know, you know, I just don't know. 3 kids in 13 years. It's not always happy, right? I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but I wouldn't want it any other way, you know? Yeah, I've learned to live with it. Yes, I do believe that, Kay, and I didn't realize 18 years later that, shit, he was just as affected as I was, you know what I mean? And so I kind of had a little bit of guilt. Yeah, the Salingers don't show emotion. Now Dan cries all the time. Now he can't stop crying. The other night when I was on my live on Tuesday, he came out and his eyes were puffy. Just, he said, listening to that story and reenacting the pain, right, from that day, because he was there too. You know, he was there too. And it was hard for him, I think. He talked about it yesterday with our friends. And I was out here. So them telling it and reminding me and saying, you know what, it was so cool to see Dan and hear his side, right? Hear his side and show so much emotion with our life together. My dad passed from a self-inflicted gun wound to the head. He shot himself intending to die that night, and he lived 2 years later. He lived for 2 years after that shot until the bullet never exited. So there was always the potential that he was going to stroke out eventually, and he did 2 years later. So, yeah, I think you imagine the good, and Dan is so emotional. Like, I can't wait, you know, to be able to share our story with y'all because it's such a beautiful thing. And we are very lucky that things happen the way they happen. We're very fortunate. And it's pretty fucking cool. Yes, I believe my dad was bipolar. We all do. Just never got help for it. He does have a lot bottled up. And I think it all stems from his childhood. You know, honestly, I think it stems from his childhood. You know, Dan was the baby. You know, Joanne waited until everybody was out of the house for the divorce except Dan. And, you know, to have that young kid floating, you know, 9, 10, whatever he was, and his dad's living somewhere else, his mom's going back to school and working, and he had to figure it out himself. I bet there's more than we even know. I am the oldest, yeah. My mom and dad, my mom's story is pretty interesting too. She's got a great story. A sad story, really. But in the end, she left her mark by doing the things she did, right? The things she tried to control, the things she gifted me in ways, and the things she keeps on gifting me. So she met my dad at a time where she had a love of her life who went away to school, medical school to be exact, and she didn't want to wait for him. She begged him not to go, you know, blah, 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 you know the story. He ended up going, saying, I hope you wait for me. I love you, I will marry you. And well, she was angry. She was angry. So she ended up meeting my dad, who was, you know, my dad, a good looking guy, full of charisma, charm, sexy. I don't think my dad's sexy, just so you know. I'm just saying from everybody who would describe him. And full of just fun. He was fun. He was 19. My mom was like 20, going on 21, and she was mourning the loss of her first love. And this guy came in, and they're stupid, right? She was stupid. And, well, here I am. She thought having me was going to change him. He was dangerous. That's why she chose the, I can't. Anywho, this guy, my dad was a rebound. My dad was a rebound dude, had fun. They got married, didn't last long. I think by Emily, I think it was like a 2-year marriage. He didn't change because I was here. He just partied more and didn't give a shit. So my mom had to take me out of the environment, and we lived with our grandparents, my grandparents, her parents, for a long time. So they were, I think I was a baby by the time she moved out. And then lived with them and my grandparents till I was like 3 or 4. Yeah. Yes, I did have a chance to meet my dad, 100%. He's not here anymore. Well, Linda, it's funny you say a book. Yes. So, the guy, my mom's first love, is still in Nashville. He's a doctor. And back when my grandparents were alive, he always happened to know when they were in the hospital, and he would always come in to check to see if my mom was there. And a lot of times she was, and so that was cute. I mean, I obviously shows me that he never got over her either, which is really heartwarming. Sad, because she didn't wait. But then you think about the trajectory of life, right? I wouldn't be here. I'd be somebody else, you know? It's crazy. So yes, I heard he took it really hard when he learned my mom passed. one of my aunts told him. So Goodman, I mean, it's funny because Dan really never really saw his dad until he got older. I mean, Ed, I don't know, it just seemed kind of, when he talks about it, he talks about him being everywhere, not really seeing him after the divorce, pretty much living with his mom. So I don't really know the ins and outs. Ed remarried. Joanne never remarried. Joanne had long-term relationships, a couple of really serious relationships, and then that's it. But she was okay. She became independent. She became a professional. She became, she loved her work. She loved what she did, and she was happy. She was happy. Yeah. Again, the complications of the relationship, Ed being Ed, yes, family values were important to him, but he wasn't a nurturer, He's more of a nurturer now than he's ever been. But, always still wanting well for his family and very called them and talked to them, but I don't, as far as that, I was saying surface yesterday, but it's not, I just think nurturing, was the way. For improved mood. For me, Keisha, what is the best medication or supplements you have found? I don't believe in anything that is going to enhance my mood. I believe in things that are going to help, like deal with anxiety, stress. I'm a sufferer of anxiety. Companions, I mean, gosh, it's all over the place. But yeah, so I recently, a year ago, started Lexapro to help with my anxiety because it was getting in the way of my day-to-day life. But exercise really helps for me, keeps me on track, boosts your serotonin levels, and sun, being outside. It's the other things that also help in conjunction with those things. I just saw something. Ed was never an easygoing guy, no. Was he around in Josh's life more? I mean, the same. Ed was only capable of doing so much, you know what I mean? Like, Ed was only capable of giving what he could give, knowing how to give what he could give, Everybody either has the experience of being a nurturer and somebody who, nurturing meaning, making the effort to see and spend time, like my family is very nurturing. We're very much into, loving, hugging, kissing, these types of things. For us, that's important, but it's not that way for everybody. Dan always says at the drop of a hat, if you needed him, he was there. He would take care of whatever he had to take care of. But the other stuff is just fluff. It's just fluff. So the thing is that he's not a fluff. He doesn't have the fluff. He has more fluff now than he's had in his 91 years of life. Everything was very contractual. It's just weird. It's really hard to explain. Would he call his kids? Yes. Would he say, I love you? No. What do you need? I need this. All right. What do you need it for? All right. I'll bitch about, having to give money, that type of stuff. Now, he went through, before the dementia got really bad, he called his kids every night. He called them every morning. He called them during lunch. He called them during dinner. That's his way of love and showing his, but that's it. That's it. And so and that's why it hits me so hard. One of the reasons why it hits me so hard when he gives me, appreciation things is because, he was never that way. And I know, as hard as my job is with him today, I appreciate, because I know he means it, I know he means it. Was he lonely when his wife died? Probably. But what did he do? He came down here. Mark lives here. Joanne lived down the street from us for a while. We lived here. Josh was in town. So he would spend his days visiting his family, going out to lunch. He would wake up in the morning, he would take a walk, he would eat his breakfast, he would get in the car, he would drive down here, he would meet them for lunch, and then visit. Then he would come here every day. He came here every day, waited for the kids to get home from school. Once they came home from school, he hung around, and that's was his life. Us. Really, Dan and I and our kids. That's really who he's been closest to. So that's probably a lot of the reason why, some of the reason why he remembers me always is because I was always here, always. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that man did not miss a visit. And even when he was sick, he would put on a mask and still come over. And I was like, can you just stay home, please? For the love of Pete. But that's him. I mean, that was him, He always liked to be involved his way. His way. He didn't really care about, what other people felt or how people, wanted it or didn't want it. He didn't care. It was the way, it was under his terms. He always says, hello, Danielle. Last night when he was going to bed, and lately he's been on a Danielle kick. Last night when he was going to bed, he Dan's like, just lay down, it's time for bed. I want to go make sure Danielle's okay. First he said, well, where's Danielle? And Dan said, he's in the other room. She's in the other room, Dad. She's fine. I want to make sure she's okay. And he's like, she's okay. Get in bed. Yeah, it was really hard, Goodman. I didn't like it. I've been honest about that. I know, Kiki. So I'm worried that it's going to happen to me too. I saw that the later episodes after like season 13, which I'm in 14, they're starting to charge. I'm scared because I'm going to have to spend probably like $100 watching it. Shit. So yeah, you guys, it wasn't easy, still not easy. But I have managed to do a lot, put a lot aside, to continue to do it, and that's what matters. If you really watch, if people really just watch the videos, despite how I sound, my abrasiveness, crassness, or whatever people use to describe my way of talking or yelling or whatever, you can yell in a nicer way. You can? Anyhow, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's happy. He's happy. He's comfortable with me. It doesn't matter. To him, that's our relationship. That's all he knows. He knows the way I talk to him. We have history. Of course I'm not going to be perfect with him. But I have to be direct and to the point with him because that's what works best with me. He trusts me. He is comfortable with me. And you can see it in his fucking face when I'm talking to him. I have a video that I took last night and I was giggling because it'll be posted. We had this conversation and I was giggling because I was like, now I listen for my voice. And it's harsh, but I wasn't mad, I wasn't any other way, but my voice comes off when I'm trying to be to the point and direct. We were talking about Josh, and and that was like the 5,000th time that he was asking me the same question. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put it on. I don't even feel like I was frustrated. I wasn't even frustrated, but I was like, oh, trolls are going to have fun with this one. Because I look at it from my point of view, and I look at it from the trolls' point of view. I look at it, and I see him, who's not affected, right? He is complete, because I watch him. He is so not affected, he just understands me clear as day. And I'm thinking, oh, the trolls are going to have fun with this one. But I'm not going to not post it because you can see how quick he resets. You can see how this happens for an hour. This was happening for an hour, and I caught it halfway through it. So you have to start understanding that. You know, we may be a little bit more explanatory at the beginning, and then as you keep repeating, things get shorter, they get more direct, because the other shit's not working, it's not sinking in, and his reset is so quick. So it sounds, the trolls are gonna love it. I mean, the trolls are gonna come in hot and heavy, but it's so funny because when I look at myself and hear myself, I think to myself, I mean, I guess I can see what they say, but in no way, I tell you, you know, when I'm frustrated. I was not frustrated last night, but it's gonna sound like I was. When I am to the point and direct, like I said, it's probably halfway through a quick reset, and it works better, and I have to speak louder. When he says what, I go up in volume. I don't think there's anything nice sounding when you go up in volume. I have never been able to master the sweet volume talk, the sweet yell. It doesn't work. Not with me anyway. But yeah, they're gonna have fun with it. They're gonna have fun with it. And I kind of giggled. I kind of giggled because I was like, oh, I know what's coming with this one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you be any kinder? No, not at that moment. He can't fucking hear. It's my voice. It doesn't mean, you know, and if you look at him, instead of paying attention to me, pay attention to him. Pay attention to him. Because he is just going, okay. Well, what is, you know, and then he's asking me 20 questions. Well, I don't want to spend the time, right, to tell him, you know, well, what Rocky does, you know? I don't know. She's doing this. Well, what kind, I wonder? I don't know. You know, I don't know. I know, but I'm not going to sit and try to explain to him for something he's going to reset so quickly. The main objective, you're right, is for me to hear, for him to hear me with the least amount of repetition and trying to talk loud enough, firm enough, and short enough for him to maybe hold on to it a little bit more until something else distracts him. Now, yet last night's, the one, I didn't post it today yet, I'll post it tomorrow, but last night's conversation was just being loud, being to the point. I was watching him, he was eating, I was sitting down with him, it was after dinner, he was talking, he was starting to get tired, and typically when he gets tired, he can't hear, he doesn't remember as quickly, you know, it takes a long time. Yeah, and this video shows how quickly he resets. It's like at least 4 rounds of it. So when it's 4 rounds of it in a video, and I cut it off finally. I just said, all right, there you have it. And it was going on for 30 minutes before that. Yeah. Straight and to the point. Is it sundowners? Yeah, I mean, probably. And especially at that point, it's when he's tired, you know, and then Dan came in, we had some good conversations with him when Dan was there. And then Dan was like, all right, Dad, let's go. Because he just couldn't hold anything for more than, you know, a second. And so it was just, it's really hard because, you know, and you don't want to get him more, he just gets more confused. And anyhow, yeah, it's exhausting, you know. Some days you're like, sit down, you know, no. And they don't realize. Last night he got mad at Dan. Oh, Daniel, settle yourself down. And he's like, Dad, I know. I'm just frustrated. You don't remember, but you've asked me 50 times. I have not. You know, that's normal. I mean, you know, you can't help it to get frustrated. And tinnitus is so funny because he doesn't really hear it during the day. It's at night what wakes him up. Bye, Cheryl. Yeah, and it is, and I have to just be more direct with him, especially at night, because he's so tired that his brain is just not processing anything. I try, Rowdy, I do the best I can, and that's why I show it. I don't hide from it. I don't, I think to my, if he doesn't look right in the video, is the only time I don't post it. If I'm like questioning it and I show Dan and Dan's like, yeah, I don't like him in it, I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried about the projection of others onto me and how I communicate with them. And if I sound irritated or whatever, I'm not worried. Because there is every day some hint of irritation. I'm not ashamed of anything I show. I'm not ashamed of anything I record. If I would be in that, if I would feel I was being mean, if I would feel I was being any other way about myself, and he wasn't shown right, I wouldn't be videoing it. When I don't feel in the mood, I don't video. I video when I'm in the mood. And there's nothing wrong with the way I communicate with them, right? Then using his condition to get views, constantly complaining. User, do you know even what you're saying? So no, I'm not ashamed of what I post, because that's the reality of it. Whether or not you think I'm in a bad mood, I'm frustrated, I don't video when I'm in a bad mood. I don't video when I'm in a bad mood, because I'm not in the mood to even engage in conversation. So, how people think, oh, how rude are you? Why would you video something like this? Well, obviously, if I'm posting it, I don't think I'm being rude. This is my dynamic with Ed. Just because it seems that way to you doesn't mean that's what's happening. Look at Ed. Stop focusing on me. Look at Ed, not me. So I know, I know what works well for him. I know how he responds. I know what he responds better to. And I'm human, right? And the reality of caregiving is frustration. The reality of caregiving is not being perfect. The reality of caregiving is being raw. Hi.
The reality. I have a
Did you watch me?
No.
Oh.
Why? Were you bagging on me?
No.
Oh.
Not today. Not yet.
All right. So I have a meeting at 11:30 because I'm giving a speech at the Alzheimer clinic. And what were you talking about? I lost my train of thought. Oh, caregiving. And that's going to be my job, is to jazz up the volunteers, make them excited.
What are you talking about?
The Alzheimer's Association raises money to fight Alzheimer's and to help caregivers and things like that. So I'm going to be speaking at their
Summit.
at their leadership summit, talking to all the volunteers in the company, trying to motivate them, and by telling the story of being a caregiver.
I can't believe they would ask you to do that.
What?
Speak on behalf of your father and Alzheimer's.
Why?
Because.
You're being sarcastic?
Yes, I am.
Oh. Yeah, so I'll get up in front of a lot of people and I'll speak. All right.
It's amazing he gets to do those things. It's amazing, right? Right? It just makes me laugh. I have to just do my little pokes here and there. I learned that from Ed. So if you don't like my pokey, that's Ed. Ed taught me how to do that because Ed's a poker. So I learned how to poke from Ed. So if you love Ed, then you would understand my poke. You're welcome, Rudy. Rudy. It's my sarcasm. Well, I wish that you were on there. I was going to cancel my wine. Why would you? In all honesty, Elizabeth, we were going on, and then Grandpa was having a really hard time, and we were going to go on late, like at 6, and then, but who cares? You still get to drink wine. What about a hearing aid for Ed? It's not like we haven't tried hearing aids, you guys. It's not like we're trying to be cruel individuals and not give him hearing aids. You think we enjoy yelling? Do you think we enjoy repeating? Do you think we love keeping our voice loud? It's exhausting. Were we close? No. Jennifer, he drove me fucking nuts. No. He drove me nuts, and he's still driving me nuts, but at least he has a little bit more compassion to his driving me nuts. So, yeah, and that's the truth. That's just the sheer truth. People hate the truth, but what do you want me to tell you? Oh, yes, we were great. We had tea all the time. We would go to the bars. We would dance it up together. We would square dance. He liked to do little square dancing and you know, line dancing and hee-hawing. No. He was a pain in the fucking ass. How long have we been married? 26 years. Going on 27. Yeah. No. So that's why it was really hard for me to, you know, take him in at first. I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of a lot of my anger. I had to let go of a lot of my irritations. Do I get triggered still today? Yes. Yes, I get triggered. When he looks at me in certain ways that like reminds me of old past traumas, you know, I'm like, what'd you say? Let's get this straight. My house, my rules. Oh, you own this house? I do. Well, okay then. Okay, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. And that's why I say my house. Because he tries to overpower me with the idea that he, I have a little thing on my nose ring, that he owns everything, right? It's that control issue. And no, I have to set him straight. You know, people always had such a big ideal. Why can you say our house? Well, first of all, no, you can't say our house because he knows it's not his house. When the reality hits, he's like, oh yeah, you're right. There's a pool. You have a pig. This is your house, right? Yes. But in those moments when he's feisty, I have to be specific. Right? You have to be specific because he overpowers you with control by saying, well, you're in my house. I do what I want to. You need to no. No. And there's been a couple of times this week that I've had to, like, he was getting in my face. And in those times where that's his aggressiveness, right? His aggressiveness when he's feisty and he'll look at me like, who the fuck do you think you are? And then I, you know, stands back and I say, who the fuck do you think you are? And we get in a standoff. He's never physical, but he will try to walk through me. And then, you know, then I have to say, he said, you know, he is. And that's why we have to very clearly define the lines, because once he knows he's in my house, he gets it. He backs off. And he says, okay, your house? All right. When did you buy it? 18 years ago. 18 years ago? Yes. Well, who helped you buy it? Dan? What's the time? Did you just not hear me say that? No, you can't go with the flow. How come you're not understanding what I just said? When he's trying to do something that is dangerous for him, you can't go with the flow. People don't understand that. It's like, oh, just go with the flow. It's easy. No. So because I'm stopping him from doing something that he could potentially injure himself with, I should just go with the flow. No. When I am in a confrontation with Ed, it's because at that moment, he doesn't understand that he's 91.
He doesn't understand that he has deficits. He doesn't understand, and I need to jump in. So let me just step away and go with the flow. Okay, Ed, walk outside. I can't go with you right now, but go ahead, take a walk down the road. Take a walk, be by yourself. I won't help you down the stairs that you trip on almost every day. I won't help you, protect you, because you drag your feet every day, and every day there's a potential fall. It's Dan's dad, end of the day, that's all that matters. Yes, it's Dan's dad, but I'm still responsible for caring for him and keeping him safe when Dan's not available. And there's a lot of times that I'm doing it more than Dan. So I'm not understanding what that means. Stop with your politics. Yeah, he doesn't understand. So no, you can't go with the flow. Ed's not the type of guy that you can go with the flow. Again, understand that he's a very controlling guy. Understand that he has his moments of feistiness. Understand that he can't do things by himself without assistance. Understand. MCC, who said it? You're the only one talking about a burden. Well, you said burden for. A burden for. I don't, a burden for, you mean a burden? No, I never said that word. You just said that, not me. Listen, read the room.
Burning Man?
No, somebody said, if he's a burden for you, then put him in a home. I'm like, you're the one using the word burden, not me. I'm saying it's called caregiving. I'm saying those are the things you have to do. People don't like that. People are telling me to shut up because I'm telling you, sometimes I have to step in the way and I have to assert dominance because I can't go with the flow and let him walk out the door by himself.
Yeah, there are certain activities, you know, and it's kind of akin to if you see a child walking to a hot stove or getting ready to put their hand in a socket, your reaction is not going to be, "Hey, Jimmy, that's hot." That's not your reaction. Your reaction is, "Hey, Jim, don't touch that." And it's the same thing with my dad. When it's something dangerous, you have an adrenaline burst, okay? It's a fight or flight chemical that is released when you see your father walking into danger, and your reaction is not going to be soft and, "Oh, perhaps it's tinnitus." Like somebody's comment was freaking hilarious on my night video. They were telling me how to act at 2:30 in the morning in your sleep. Why didn't you say, "Perhaps it's tinnitus, Ed"? Because, you know, it's frickin' 2:30 in the morning and your dad's pressing buttons on the damn...
And you're not fucking thinking about anything but going back to sleep and getting him safely in his fucking room.
I've softened. You know, P.S., somebody made a comment today, I will tell you this, about caregiving and, you know, like that journey for patience and how you have to adjust the way you are because people with dementia don't respond to aggressive behavior, even if that is the pattern that you had in your past, you know.
Do you want to approach this woman before I block her? Because she's just been on my ass.
Who?
Right here.
Danielle, you're hard. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's Danielle is Danielle, but I'm going to ask you this, whoever that was. In all of those videos that people are criticizing her, don't take 1 minute and don't look at her, look at him. Watch my dad in those videos. Is my dad upset? Is he get emotional? How is he responding to her? That is the real indication, and that's all that matters. You know, whatever I intend, all that matters is how my dad feels emotionally. Is he smooth? Is he upset? And as whatever her tone is, it's there. I hear it. We all hear it. She pisses her off to say it, but that is just Danielle. It doesn't bother him, right? He responds incredibly well to her, despite
what other people judge me on.
Yeah. So, what? Or where I got an email. It took my train of thought. Yeah. So yeah, the tone's the tone, but look at him in the videos. Look at how he responds. Is he comfortable? Is he responsive? Does he settle down? You know, does it go to a conclusion? Usually they do. Where was I talking before you took me there? Oh yeah, caregiving. So PS was saying she was watching my journey, and there was another caregiver that made a comment that said, not only did the experience caregiving, make me patient with caregiving, but that carries over. Doing what I'm doing for my dad and having to make the adjustments and dealing with the empathy that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You can't live for yourself. I mean, you're living for somebody else in those moments. You actually change as a person too. It's not just caregiving. I am a lot calmer, less explosive. The way I deal with my dad pours over into the rest of my life, and it's really weird, but it's true. Being a caregiver actually changes you as a person, in addition to learning how to treat, how to properly care for somebody. Because if you can't get the patience, you're just going to be. It's going to be hard. I mean, you have to learn how to deal with your person, but
and you don't always have the patience.
I feel like I'm a very different person than I was 3 years ago.
And I am too. The one thing that's been consistent is my tone. If you watch from my first moment of this, my journey, my tone hasn't changed. My tone has not changed in the last year and a half. That should tell you that just must be me and the way I mom, the way I caregive. It doesn't mean I don't love him. If I didn't love him, he wouldn't be here. It's just my way. It's my way. You can caregive and not be angry or always condescending. Oh, Lord.
You caregive with what you have. You have whatever it is. You have your voice, you have your tone, you have your tendencies.
Those are assumptions and those are judgments. When you come on here talking about my angriness and my condescendingness, you don't really know me. I have sarcasm, but you don't know me. You're just making assumptions based on my tone. That's it. That's ugly.
And, neither of us are perfect, right? The imperfections that you see and comment on are there, right? That's true. Neither of us are perfect in any of our interactions. For any day, there are mistakes made and bad things every day, and loss of patience or frustration boils over every day. It happens. It's not. You can't avoid that, or you're not human. So we're not perfect. So what you see, and those are true, but we're still doing. He's still getting a better alternative than whatever, and he's still happy. He still laughs every frickin' day. He wakes up. He feels safe. He feels secure, even in moments where he doesn't know what the hell's going on. That says a lot.
And he always looks for me.
And
I must be really mean and condescending and angry if he always looks for me and cares about my well-being.
The video I shot today, he woke up kind of this bugs me. So he woke up kind of he was out of it today. He didn't know who I was, and I could tell. So in the video you see I get up and I walk over to let him know, hey, you're in your son's house, you're safe. He's safe. He knew I was familiar, but he looks at me, he's like, you're my son, aren't you my brother? He was just confusing who I was, and it stayed on. He peed, I filmed him again, he was still confusing, and I finally, I'm your son, and he kind of like halfway believed me, and then I'm like, let me get you some cereal. He walks in the kitchen, he's like, oh, hey, Danielle.
My dad was up at 12:30 trying to wash dishes. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. It pisses Dan off so much when he does that. It makes him laugh so hard. Last night when he was like trying to get out of bed, Dan was putting him to bed, and he wanted to make sure I was okay. He was really worried that I wasn't okay for some reason. And, he was like, I want to go check on Danielle to make sure she's okay. And Dan's like, she's fine. And he comes out, he goes, out of all that, I want to make sure Danielle's fine. And every morning, it really never fails. Every day Dan's like, I'm your son. Oh, I thought you were my brother. You're my son? I don't think you're, and I walk by, hey, Danielle. Dan's like, the hell? I think Dan's starting to get a little bit jealous. Yeah, so let me tell you, my tone is my tone. You know, I have a tough, my tone sometimes, like in this video I'm going to post tomorrow, it sounds tough. And I'm laughing because of the fact that I had no frustration, you know, I had no anger and I had nothing. But I literally sound like, you know, sometimes I sound a little rough around the edges. But I remember talking last night and I watched it this morning and I just laughed because I was like, oh God, you know, I don't feel any way in this. I remembered because I wouldn't have videoed if I felt any way, you know, but I just can't, that's just me. When I talk, I'm very to the point, you know, especially when it's been like 5,000 conversations before that. I mean, it is what it is. You know, that's my personality. I'm not going to not post it because I'm afraid of what, you know, the trolls are going to say, or, you know, you guys might be like, all right, Danielle, that sounds a little harsh, but there was no ill will at all when I was recording that because I wouldn't have recorded. But, you know, the conversation was a bit daunting because it was happening so much, but I was just talking, he couldn't hear, and I'm close to him, you know? And so I'm just talking loud. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what, you know what, you know, he wanted to know details and I had already done the details 5,000 times before that, but it's funny. But I'm just, you know, I'm very direct. And I was the same way with my kids. I didn't sugarcoat things, you know, maybe if we were sitting on the couch but I would never talk baby talk to my kids, you know. I talk baby talk to my dogs. That's the only time I speak baby talk is to my dogs. I've never spoken that way, you know, to my kids or Dan. I have a very direct tone because I get things done. You know, I'm the captain of my ship, and it's not like I'm sitting around, you know, I'm not sitting around shouting orders. I am in the middle of a whole day being on my feet trying to micromanage everything. And so it's funny. Less of you is more. Suzanne, you're on my page, so you're never going to see less of me, honey. So I suggest if you want to see less of me, you just vacate my channels. Yeah, so you have to realize when I post things, I post them because they're good conversations. I'm not focused on me. I giggle at me, but I post them because it's a good conversation with Ed. And sometimes it shows you, you know, how quickly he resets. So this video that was taken last night just shows you how quickly it resets, right? And it didn't stop because I literally cut the video off and he was still going on the same cycle. You know, that's it. It's not me. Focus on him. Yeah. He loves me. He loves me. And for the people who come on and critique me, fine. You know, say what you want to say, do what you need to say, but you know, I'm not here to just tolerate being walked all over. I'm not going to do it. My job is hard enough, and being on social media is hard enough to get constant ridicule from the people who have no idea, nor have, as long as the craziness, you know, sound great all the time. But it doesn't mean I'm angry. Doesn't mean I'm mad. It doesn't mean I'm rude. It matters I'm direct and to the point. And he's either smiling or he's responding or he's understanding. He is not scarred by it because that's been our life the whole time. We've had the same consistent behavior, the same way of communicating. I'm just a lot nicer than I was in the past. Plain and simple. We weren't nice to each other at all. So we have a dynamic. We have a way, but at the end of the day, he is here in my house and I am taking care of him. Kim, I'm explaining myself because this is my journey and this is what matters. I'm not looking for validation. I'm letting people understand my story and my relationship with them. We like your husband better. Okay, well, go to his account. Go watch him. Yeah, and that's so funny, Chris. I'm not my mom's favorite, but I'm the only one here. It says a lot for the people who step up. It says a lot for the people who step up to the plate and do it. Me and Dan have done it, right? Here's another great guy, Jake. It's not hard being on social media because you are on every day showing your frustrations. And Jake, what are you doing right now? What are you doing, Jake? I'm confused at what your point is. I'm on social media every day trying to be relatable to the people who are doing it every day. I'm trying to be relatable to the people who understand and who need to know they're not alone. That is why I'm here, Jake. Cece, I've been running since I was 4. I have been running since I was 4. And life is, am I trying to get more followers than Dan? No, I probably will never have that many followers than Dan. No, we're a husband and wife. We're a team. We don't work against each other. We work together. Together. It's not any sort of competition. Kind of a weird way to look at it. Do people run at age 4? I don't know. 60 seconds. Oh, no, you didn't. Teamwork, yeah. Take care of dad. It's not easy. It's horrible. But anyhow, yeah. You know when you hit the algorithm, like Lily said, you get all the grandpa, your grandpa's comfort zone. I really do believe I am. In a time when he's disgruntled, it's me. It's nobody else. I mean, that's the thing. It's that I have a long way to go. I don't think I'm ever going to meet up to over 2 million. It's funny because people don't want to see the true reality of the things that we try to show, right? It's people, people say, well, it's Dan's dad, he does it better than Danielle. She's just trying to ride on his coattails, all this stuff. Like, he's so much better. And I giggle at that because it's not that he does things better than me, Does he always? No. My thing is I'm the most consistent person on social media. What I show is how I am. How I sound is how I am. I don't sugarcoat anything because I don't believe in that. And why sugarcoat anything? Like, why not be I'm not going to be fake, show my true colors on here. I'm not going to just be like, oh, well, hello, Ed. How are we today? Would you like anything to eat, sweet pea? Gosh, I love you. You look great today, sir. That's not me. It's not me. It never has been me. So no, I'm not going to change because people think, they view me as rude and disrespectful and, stop screaming at him, stop yelling at him. I'm done replying to that stupid idiocity. I'm not going to do it. I do what I do. I know what I do. I'm confident in what I do. And I do it imperfectly because that's what caregivers are. We're perfectly imperfect. How did you treat your parents? Carrie, my parents are dead. Carrie. My mom died 18 years ago next month with primary lung cancer, and my dad shot himself in the head, Carrie. So how do I treat my parents? I would love to treat them the same way. I would love for them to be in my house. I would love for me to do what I just did and what I am doing. And would I treat them any differently than what I am treating Ed? No, because that's my behavior, that's my personality, and that's the way I communicate. So no, Carrie, when you're trying to be a smartass, my parents aren't here. Now what? Where are you now, Carrie? You have anything to say? Again, Carrie, listen up. Let me tell you one more time, and for everybody else in the back. I am not ashamed of anything I show you all on my social media page. I am not ashamed of myself, my tone, or anything else that I publish on my accounts. Like it, love it, or don't. Clay, if you don't like it, get the fuck out. As simple as that. This is me. Jake. This is me. My supporters, which are so many more than the little stupid crass 15% of you out here who like to bitch and give me a hard time. They like me for a reason. I do it for them. They appreciate me and don't judge me based on my tone, because at the end of the day, they see that Ed's happy. They see that Ed's fed, and they know I care for him, and I don't do it well all the time, but I'm still doing it. I am walking the walk, and I am talking the talk, regardless of anything else. My tone does not mean I don't love somebody. Ask my kids. I spoke to them the same way. I still speak to them the same way. Should I be ashamed? No. Because tone doesn't mean any fucking thing. My actions speak louder than my tone. Ed loves me, and he knows I love him. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. That is what he does to me every day, nonstop. You think that's a sign of somebody who's afraid of me and who feels disrespected? No. It's not how it works. So no, I'm posting because there's something good or cute in the video. That's it. I'm not posting to get ridiculed because y'all have your judgments about me. And people say, look how scared he is. He was just laughing. The fuck are you looking at? Ed could not drive the Porsche today, you guys. Come on. Understand that. You think he can use a clutch and a stick shift? He can barely cut something with his fingers. Tone down your voice. No, it will never be toned down. My voice is my voice. I will never tone down. I will never change my ways because a couple of y'all think I am, ruthless and crass. Yes, I'm crass. I'm short. I'm direct. You're right. I am. And it works. That's why. I know. Poor Dan. Shit. Poor Dan. People are so judgmental. I'm not. Fuck. You think I am this way. If I had something to hide, I wouldn't be on here. Plain and simple. If I had something to hide, if I was fake, I would not be on here. People should start learning to appreciate the realness of what people show. People should enjoy, the honesty and the real life. I'm not saying, oh, it's easy. I'm not saying, oh, it's perfect. I never lose my cool. And then the minute I get off, I'm yelling. No, I am not a perfect caregiver. I'm not a perfect wife. I am not a perfect mother. But I still care for everybody more than I care for myself. I'm an empath. I do everything for everybody. And I like doing it. Stop focusing on my aggression. Stop. It's annoying. It's like y'all are walking around with fucking eyes closed. Y'all look at the big picture. Eyes closed people, when you come on here and you talk about me and my tone, get over yourselves. Get over the fucking tone. Fuck. It doesn't mean a shit ton of nothing. And I always preach about not being perfect. Because that's the true reality of it. People get mad when I talk about how, Ed was in his past. Why would you say that? Lies. Why? Because that's not what you want to hear? So you want me to lie? Would you prefer I lie? Would you prefer I tell you everything was great? We're great. Nothing is wrong. and I'm a horrible fucking caregiver because I can't stand the man, would you rather me tell you that? That's not true? No. I'm telling you. Yeah, I couldn't stand him. We fought. We didn't get along. And now I am his biggest supporter. I am his biggest protector. And I have I found love for that man. I love him, or he wouldn't be here. I was able to put aside most of my anger, right? To help him because I couldn't do it without letting things go. Did I love him before? No. Now? Yes. And he wouldn't be here if I didn't. That's truth. That's honesty. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. When he first started, and I've told this story before, when he first started coming here, I wasn't able to deal with it. I couldn't. I was still so angry. I was still mad. I was still just, I couldn't, the anxiety that I had with him being in my house and trying to help him, and just his triggers, that he was, at that point, he was a little bit more verbally aggressive with me. And I was breaking down. I was losing my shit. I did it for 2 months, and I said, I can't do this anymore, Dan. I'm choosing me, and so you either have to choose him or me. And I could not do it. My mental health, my stress level, I was gonna die. I was gonna die because of the anxiety and the frustration I had. And Mark and Dan started looking at memory care facilities. They did. Because it was me who was that final piece of the puzzle. There was nobody else that was stepping up to the plate. It was up to me to make it work. It was up to me to make it work. And guess what? You choose you, but you make Dan have to choose his dad or you. Yeah, I did. How is that selfish? How is that selfish? How is it selfish that I chose me over his dad at a time that I was gonna die? That's selfish? No, that's not. Because if I continued to go on that way, Dan and I would not be married today. Dan and I would not be married today. Because that would have destroyed us. That would have destroyed us. It's not selfish. You're selfish thinking that way. It's not selfish. Because guess what? Open your eyes. Is he still here 2 years later? Over 2 years later? Selfish? That's called selfless, Miguel. That's called selfless. Because he's still here and I'm still doing it. No matter what my feelings were, I was able to overcome it. Selfish? You guys seem stupid. You guys seem stupid. That seems very ignorant. That seems very closed-minded. That seems very one-sided. That's real. People think, this role as caregiver is so easy. People think, this role, it should be better and we should be better and we should have better things. We are here to show you that it's not easy. There are struggles. There are struggles that you go through when you choose to care for a family member. Those are the cold, hard truths. Why do people hate to hear them? That's the question I want to know. Why do people hate when I talk about that? Why do people want to cast stones at me? The one decider who was able to overcome it for Ed and for his son, mostly for his son. Why do people attack me for speaking my truths and how hard it was for me at the beginning, not knowing any history before that? Think about that. He's still here over 2 years later. It's a sacrifice. I should be traveling the world right now with my husband. I should be living it up. We should be able just to leave everything today and let's go. But we can't. You know why? Because we are taking care of his father. That's not selfish. I don't have the ability to be selfish anymore. Interesting. When the inheritance, you guys get off the money thing. My husband's an attorney. If you end up like that, how would you feel if your kid's partner to choose or me or her? CEO or whoever your name is. You know what I told my kids? Because I'm a realist. I told my kids, I don't want you taking care of me. You know why I said that? Because I don't want them to have that obligation and to want the obligation of taking care of me when they have a family. It's a lot of work. It puts a lot of strain on certain people's relationships. It is hard to take care of a loved one when you have a family. I don't want my kids taking care of me. Because I know how hard it is. I know some days you get resentful because you can't leave, because you can't go on a trip, because you can't do what you want to do at the drop of a hat. I know sometimes that anger is there. Because why? Because I have it. I don't want that for my kids. And I wouldn't blame, if I was difficult, my kids' significant others to say you or her. I wouldn't blame them. Because if I'm an ornery bitch, I don't want that for my kids. They will still probably do it. And Sherry, they've said that. They said, well, you won't have that. If I make it that long, who knows at this point? My mom died at 53. So who knows what my life expectancy is. But I don't want them to do it, and I don't expect them to do it. Because I know how hard it is. And I know how hard it is on the significant others of the people who take in their family members. My friend's memory curve was, yeah, and you know how much it is here? It's like $10,000 a month. Yeah. Yeah, it's like $10,000 a month. You have help though. Why is there a complaint? We have help. We do? Where? Who? Huh? What? Oh, you're home on hospice? Oh no. Yeah, and I think I would be the same way. Like, if I'm really sick, I hope Dan's around to take care of me. I just don't, I don't want my kids I don't want to interfere in their life, if it's a good way, if I'm a good person, if I'm not needy and I, have most of my faculties and they can drop me off at a casino and I can just gamble for a couple hours and they can pick me up, you know. I just I'm not that I'm not selfish like that, I'm not selfish in expecting my kids to take care of me. I'd rather be alone because I don't want my kids to stop living. I don't want my kids to stop living. And if I became sick and say Dan wasn't here, I don't want it to interfere with them. I have done everything for them to get them to the point of being successful. And I just don't want to be an interference for them. I want them to continue to live their life. That's it. And to me, that's pretty unselfish, I wouldn't want that expectation. Now, if they fought me on it, and most likely, no, I don't look at it as, I think I wouldn't do it. I don't feel, and that's where you and I differ, and you're a very closed-minded person, CEO. But I don't feel just because I raised my kids that they owe me. No, that's not how I work. That's not how I work. I don't think, well, I did for you, now you must do for me. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I don't expect you to do that. I don't have that expectation on my family. My kids owe me nothing. It's not like I hold it over the heads. Well, you better take care of me. I took care of you. That's not the way I think. My mom didn't think that way. She raised me like that. Yes, Dan's dad expected his kids to take care of him. There was an expectation in that, 100%. There's a difference. Hi, Elle. That's why you're famous. Oh God, you guys, get over yourselves. So that's I should be there for my dad. Well, yeah, all right. I'm not saying, and that's your choice as a child of your parents, right? I'm not saying, I'm sure my my kids, one of them will probably collaboratively, I bet they will take care of me if I make it that long. But I don't look at it, everybody's different. But not everybody thinks that way. Would I have taken care of if I had the chance of taking care of my parents? Abso-fucking-lutely, I would have taken care of them just because I wanted to. And if I could, I would have. But like at the time my mom was dying for cancer and all that stuff, I couldn't do it because I had a young family, right? I couldn't take the time every day to care for somebody who was dying. That's a lot of work, right? So there are certain things that I just wouldn't do, and I wouldn't expect my kids to do the same thing. Now, most kids would think like you or whatever and say, yes, I don't care what you think, I'm taking care of you because you're my parents, and that's out of respect. But it's not an expectation. I don't expect my kids to do it. I don't expect my kids to do it. Certain people expect it. Certain parents expect it. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. But I don't. And I want my kids knowing, because of my situation now, I want my kids knowing, and I tell them this all the time, I do not expect you to take care of me. I will tell you this over and over and over and over and over again. I do not expect you to take care of me. I don't want you to take care of me. I want you to live your life, and I want you to live it well. I have done enough for you. You have done enough for me. The joy and happiness and that you provide for me is enough to keep me happy. Plain and simple. And then they say, of course, oh, Mom, you don't have a choice in that. If we want to take care of you, we'll take care of you. And I'm saying yes, but I just want you to make sure you understand I do not expect it of you. And I totally understand if you can't. I don't want you to feel pressure like it's something you have to do because I gave you life. You gave me happiness. So we're even. We're even. Do the siblings watch our feed? Yeah, Mark does. I was a manager. Yeah, and I say that too, but they probably will. I'm sure they will, if I make it that long. If I make it that long. I mean, I have to get to that age where I need assistance, Would you feel the same way if it was your dad? What way, Kim? What way? Would I feel what way? Same as my dad. I don't understand what I was talking about, and what would I feel what way if it was my dad? I don't understand. Karma will definitely take out young. Cardi, God, that's ugly. If anybody should watch out for karma, it should be you. No.
So he got himself a bowl of cereal and cut up a banana and put it in it.
So that's 2.
2 bowls of cereals with 2 bananas. But he cut his own banana up and put it in it. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Found a bowl, found a cereal, cut up a banana, and is eating it at the kitchen table right now.
Yeah.
He is he can do a lot.
Now we need more bananas. People are really ignorant. Judgmental, yes. Do you regret taking care of Dan's dad? No, never said that in my entire life. There is no right or wrong in this situation, and that's what I was trying to say. There is no right or wrong in any of this situation, right? Because the kids are going to do what they want to do. I just want them to know and to not feel guilty if they can't take care of me, right? Because it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. So I don't understand why you get so much hate. You're funny, relatable, and obviously good. Yeah, who knows? It's my tone. My tone rubs people the wrong way. What did Ed do after he retired for 30 years? Drive people nuts. That's what he did. Am I Latina? No. Bye, life. Have a good one. Is Mark okay? Mark is fine. Just getting older. We all get older. What nationality are you? I'm a mutt. It makes me, it doesn't make me angry anymore like it used to. Like, people, you get so defensive, so upset. No, I explain myself because I feel like people are so close-minded, and I say that all the time. Like, I think I'm pretty, I have a really good, I'm able to see both sides of it. Like I said, I admit it. I giggled when I heard my voice in the video I'm going to post tomorrow. I giggled. I said, oh my God, I'm going to get so much hate. But it's like, they choose to just focus on me and not what's important, like Dan said. They choose to focus on my faults, but not really see the big picture. I have never said I was full of perfection. I see women on here saying stupid shit in the chat saying, oh, but you're perfect. No, I make it about me. Well, Sheila, this is my page, honey. So yes, it is about me. This is my journey. So yes, me. Huh. Ed has never liked her. Never said that, Louie. Never said that. Never said that. Ed has always liked me. Ed actually has always loved me. Treya, what made me change my mind? A lot. A lot of different things. A lot of different things. I'm a decent person, Newsy. I, I have my faults. I still have them, but I really believe that I am, I'm better. I do. I try to practice what I preach. I don't judge. I'm working on my judgment. I've gotten better on judging and assumptions. I have a good view of both sides of things. I can see things from both perspectives, not just my own. Um, I can, I'm very empathetic, and I care for the people that are in my life, um, who, who I take care of. Um, and I'm pretty realistic with trying to explain all my faults, you know. I'm pretty realistic in trying, because that's part of my journey. That's part of that's part of the way I cope. That's part of how I give myself, perspective, is by talking to you guys. I cope differently than most people, right? And some of you cope exactly like me, and that's some of the reason why, you relate so well to me, is because we are just humans trying to get through a day full of shit, you know? It's not just about money, it's not just about fame. And it's about sharing me and what I do for my family, and how I get by caregiving, and what I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and how I just, some days, my thoughts for the other people in caregiving, or with sick kids, or with sick loved ones, it's all the same. I was lucky enough to have a platform. I was lucky enough that my husband stumbled across his dad, his account blew up, and my husband wanted me to participate in this journey together as a joint union. I was lucky that I have been able to expand my channel and just more than just Ed and me. Now I'm talking about me, how I deal, how I cope, how I work through my things, and how I hold myself accountable. It's not easy. And yes, I have built up my own following of people who relate and who want to hear how, give advice, let's do it together. I feel the same way. Oh my gosh, I feel so not alone anymore. Thank you for your time. That's why I do it. It is about me. This channel is about me. Everybody who is on social media, their channel is about them and what they choose to share. Seems like a very obvious assumption. Cindy, we didn't come on. Pot roast, I will not take time. I will eventually. I will, when more the relationship of Ed, there will come a time and a place when we will get more into that side of mine and Ed's relationship. It will be more of an understanding, but now's not the time. It's a time that when Dan and I want to be together and talk about it. It is his dad, so I am very respectful in certain things, because at the end of the day, I need to make sure, Dan will probably say it the way he wants. I don't want to overstep in anything. You know what I mean? And I don't overstep, because at the end of the day, it is his dad. He does have dementia, and there are certain things we have to just, be careful about. So it will be. We will do it on a live, and we will sit down and kind of go from point A to point B with everything. So, yeah, just hang tight. Relationship with Dan's mom. It's fine. I mean, I don't call her or anything like that. We don't talk outside of like when she's here. Hey, Danielle, how are you? That type of thing. Ed does really appreciate me. He does. And anybody with half of a brain should be able to see that. You don't need a full brain to notice that. So that just explains it. Hi, Susan. How are you? Anywho. All right, you guys. I'm off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. My contractor is going to be here in a little bit, and I have some things. We will be writing a book. That is for sure. Because once we... discuss, more about the dynamics and stuff like that. It is a bookable. It is bookable. So anyhow, I love you guys. Remember, you are important. You are worthy. And you matter. Your feelings are just that, yours. You stake the claim to them, and you can't help, or people can't understand if they choose. They're not theirs. So they don't expect people to understand how you feel all the time. So anyhow, keep your heads up. It's Thursday. I don't have my TikTok back on my third account, so I won't be able to do a subscriber live tonight. But we'll be back tomorrow, fuckers. Anyhow, love you guys. Have a great day. I'd enjoyed my time today. Hope you did too. See you later.